Class, what we're going to do here today is practice what we've done in class, and I want you to practice the idea of voicing and voicelessness. We had that lesson last week when you were working with Liz's laundry time, and now we're going to repeat that kind of lesson, but we're going to use it with the ED ending in English. Here's again where English spelling and English pronunciation are extremely different. The ED, of course, we're going to put ED on most of the regular past tense verbs so that it will show the past tense. But we don't pronounce it the same way. We pronounce it differently, remember, depending on the last syllable, actually the last consonant, excuse me, that last consonant on every single word, every single verb. If it's voiced, remember, we're going to pronounce the ED ending like the voiced D sound. If it's voiceless, we're going to pronounce the ED ending as if it's the T sound, the T sound, because remember, T is the voiceless version of the D sound. And then, if the word ends with either a T or a D, a T or a D, we're going to have to add another syllable so that your listener can hear that it's the past tense. So before we work on Howard's Morning, which has lots and lots of EDs in it, I'm going to go through the major words in Howard's Morning, the major verbs, and we're going to look to see if they're voiced or voiceless sounds at the end and how to pronounce that ED ending. So here we go. You're going to see now all of the EDs in this list are going to be pronounced like the T sound, the T. And remember, T is voiceless. So just in case, let's go back and review how you know a sound is voiced or voiceless. Well, you know that is if when you're saying the sound, you don't feel any vibration in your vocal cords. So you could put your hand on your throat and you can say that k, k, k sound, and you feel no vibration there in your vocal cords. If that's difficult for you to do, remember you can close your ears, and if you hear no vibration, so if you say that sound, covering your ears, the k, k, k sound, k, you don't hear any vibration, then you know that you're going to pronounce that ED like a T sound. So let's look at the first word on the look. The first word is look. So look, looked, looked, looked. Okay, the second, p, p, that P sound, you're going to say jumped, right? Jumped, jumped. And I do need to hear both the P and the T. Jumped, okay? And then you have brushed, the sh sound. There's no vibration in your vocal cord, so we're going to have brushed, brushed. And then dress, of course, that S sound, there's no vibration, so we're going to have dressed, dressed. So we go down that list. Again, we're going to have lots of noise, right? So looked, jumped, brushed, and dressed. So we're going to go over to the other side, and again we're going to look in here those S sounds and those T sounds and those F sounds, those voiceless sounds. So we've got rushed, rushed, sht, and fixed. Now remember, this letter is pronounced as two sounds, two voiceless sounds. K, S. So that's a lot. There are 3 voiceless sounds in a row. So it makes that very difficult to pronounce. So slow down and let your mouth make all the movements it needs to make to pronounce those sounds. So it's fixed, fixed, fixed. And then here, race, that C is like the S sound. So st, raced, raced. And then popped, pt, pt, popped. So we'll go through those again. Rushed, fixed, raced, and popped. So there's lots of noise in those. Now we're going to switch, and we're going to go to those voiceless sounds. So let's practice those. Here we have the ED is going to be pronounced like a D, and you know if you do that D, D sound, you're going to feel the vibration here, or you're going to cover your ears and you're going to hear it there. So here, A, you know, if you see A in the word play, that's voiced. So we're going to have that played, played. Then we have open, again, that N sound is voiced, so we have to pronounce that ED like a D. So opened, opened. roll. When you hear that L sound, that's voiced. So rolled, rolled. And then again, we come to the N sound, so you already know. Turned, turned. Realize, z. That z is voiced, so realized. And then shave, that sound is also voiced. Shaved. So if we go down that list, we've got played, opened, rolled, turned, realized, and shaved. It's hard to hear, but Americans are listening for that so that they'll know that's the past tense. We're going to go to the other side now, and we're going to practice these. They're all, again, end with voiced sounds, so we're going to have a d in the ending. So that first one, don't pronounce the b. Pronounce the the combed. That b is not pronounced at all, even though we need it for spelling. So combed. I is a voiced sound. All vowels are voiced. So here you have the ending as a vowel, fried. So we have to use that d. Fried. Fried. Pull, again, as we had before, pulled. The N, as we had before, returned. And climbed, just like we have up there, that B is not pronounced, so we have the M sound, climbed, and then changed, j, d, changed, changed, changed. So I'll read those for you again. Combed, fried, pulled, returned, climbed, and changed. All right, so now we're going to practice a very few words where the words end in the T or the D, and with these words you're going to have to make another syllable, otherwise we wouldn't be able to hear the ending sound. So it's logical. So here we've got sound is one syllable, and now I have to pronounce the ED ending as if it's a completely separate syllable. So sound becomes sounded, and I need to hear that rhythm. Sounded, So sounded. Start ends in a T, so I need to say started, started. Want ends in a T, wanted, wanted. 2 syllables. Here decide is already 2 syllables, so now when I pronounce it with the ED ending, I have to have 3 syllables there. Decided. So we've got sounded, started, wanted, decided. You hear id. And then we're going to go to the last 3 that are in the paragraph. Hated, toasted, and started. Again, we've got 2 syllables, hated, toasted, and started. And I need to hear those loudly and clearly when we're reading the passage. So now take your passage and follow along with me, and I'm not going to read this sentence by sentence, I'm just going to read the whole passage, and I want you to listen and see if you can hear whether the EDs are T's or D's or ED sounds, okay? So here we go. Howard's morning. The clock radio played soft music, but it sounded far away to Harold. At last he opened his eyes, rolled over, and looked at the clock. He turned away and started to go back to sleep when suddenly he realized that it was already 8 o'clock. He was late. He jumped out of bed, quickly shaved, brushed his teeth, combed his hair, and got dressed. He wanted to take a shower, but decided that there wasn't enough time. He rushed down the stairs into the kitchen. He hated being late. Hurriedly, he fixed breakfast, coffee and a toasted English muffin, no time for his usual fried egg, and raced out the door. He started his car and had just pulled out of the driveway when the thought popped into his head. It was Saturday. He didn't have to go to work after all. He slowly returned, climbed the stairs, changed his clothes, and went back to bed again. So when you're pronouncing those sounds, I don't want to hear anybody say rolled or played, okay? Remember, it's played and rolled, so pay attention to that ending when you're reading this and practicing it. It's going to take you a while. This is very difficult and very subtle, but I'm sure as we keep practicing it in class, you're going to do just fine. So, see ya.